Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Let's be completely honest. Are you happy with your job? The fact is, a huge number of people can't say yes to that. Too many of us are stuck in a job we've outgrown or one we never really wanted in the first place. But we stick it out and we give reasons like, what if the next move is worse? And I've put years into this place. And maybe the most common one, isn't everyone miserable at work? But there's a difference between reasons for staying and excuses for not leaving. It's time to get unstuck. It's time for strawberry.me. They match you with a certified career coach who helps you get from where you are to where you want to be, either at your existing job or by helping you find a new one. Your coach helps clarify your goals, creates a plan, and keeps you accountable along the way. Go to strawberry.me/career and get 50% off your first coaching session. That's strawberry.me/career.
Hello, and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And today is our Sister Wives Rewind. We are on season 4, episode 2. Polygamist date nights.
Ooh.
Now, this has happened to me the last couple weeks in a row where I look at my notes and I'm like, have we already covered this show? Because we keep covering the same topics, the same running thread of, problems.
Oh, yeah.
From show to show. And when they don't have anything substantive happening, or even sometimes when they do have something substantive happening, they just go back to everybody's insecurities and everybody's problems with polygamy, basically. And especially when they do these ones where it's like, Kody and his 4 wives or polygamist date night, where it's all focused on the 4 relationships and all the problems in them.
Yes.
So yet again, we are rehashing.
Well, I have to say, I found it very entertaining. I did. What, you didn't find it entertaining? Or were you bored?
No, parts of it were entertaining, but parts of it really sounded like a broken record.
Yeah.
Especially with Christine.
I know. I understand. I found it. It is. I mean, I think obviously what makes it utterly fascinating is just knowing how it all ends and knowing where it all went. And I did think that the conversation, we'll get to it, with Meri was interesting because there are parts of it that I thought were really fascinating to hear what Meri had to say. And I agreed with Meri on some things and I disagreed with Meri on other things. And just about how complicated all of this is.
Yeah. Well,
it's
and also
so complicated.
It's very complicated. And also the conclusion I came to is these people have never been happy. and they goddamn it, they gave it a long time, you know, 20 years. And that's as far as it could go. I mean, literally, you can see the issues.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my thing. It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that Meri has ever been happy?
No. Absolutely not. And like when she was giving Christine that speech, she was giving it to herself as well.
Yeah.
It was like a pep talk to herself as well, telling her, well, if you just be nice and if you just show up being nice, then eventually he'll be nice back.
Yeah.
And that has never worked for her or for Christine.
Well, I think it has kind of sort of worked for Meri. I think it's worked in the sense
for a while.
I think it's worked in the sense of that if she stuffed her feelings down and she just is pleasant towards Kody, then he will be pleasant towards her. It doesn't really deal with what the underlying feelings are or how she feels. So do you think Janelle's ever been happy? You think Janelle's happy?
Janelle's more of a mystery to me. Janelle seems to have very, very low expectations.
Or wants and desires.
Yeah, I don't know. 'Cause she seemed to tolerate him. She didn't complain about him. It seemed to be whatever he gave her was enough for her.
Yeah.
Up until a certain point. I think when it got towards the end, just the hypocrisy of it all.
Yeah.
You know, the COVID. I think up till COVID, I think Janelle was okay. But the way that he treated her boys during COVID, the way he treated her, just all the bullshit with the protocols and with Robyn, I think that made her really take a look at her life. And maybe it wasn't until then that she really realized that, you know, this is, and the money part of it.
I was going to say, I think it was money and I think it was children.
Yeah.
For children.
She chose her children over Kody. And she got to the point where it's like, wait a minute, Robyn's got this nice house. I'm homeless, living in a trailer.
Yeah.
On Coyote Pass. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't right. And she said, you know, I've seen where the money's gone. And the money has gone to Robyn and her kids. And what she famously said, other things, which I think is code for all of Robyn's nannies, all of Robyn's wants and needs. And that was the bottom line for her was her checkbook.
Yeah. That's very, it's very interesting. And it is, this show is a constant watching of, let us show you about this lifestyle and how we do it and what you need to do, what it takes to go into this lifestyle, and let us convince you that this is good. It's good. It's good.
Well, and they had to keep the TV show because they're doing a TV show about polygamy and how great it is.
Yes.
So they have to pretend that polygamy's great to keep their paycheck coming. If that hadn't happened, I think this family would have imploded, 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's watch these dates.
Yeah, anyway, so exciting. Well, first we see that Robyn says that they've all been working in a job with a marketing company.
Yes, and
which is a MLM.
Yeah, but then I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole and I was trying to figure out, because I was doing some research of like 2012, what were they doing? What were they doing in 2012? What marketing company were they working for?
I believe it was an energy type drink, sort of similar to a Plexus type.
Okay, because this was before LuLaRoe. This was before Plexus. This was before all of that. And I was what was this? It was
a blue drink, and there were a couple of episodes where you can see that Kody and I believe Meri, there's a scene where they're both walking holding these bottles.
Okay, I'll have to keep an eye out
blue
for that.
Drink. But yeah, it was something like that, and Kody allegedly earned a new car as a bonus.
Oh.
But that's a big bonus.
That's a huge bonus.
He would have had he would have had to just get a lot of people in his pyramid.
Yes.
In his downline. But anyway, it's I was trying to figure out, it's a convertible car. I was trying to figure out what
it's like a Nissan
kind of car it was.
It's a Nissan something,
okay.
I think. I don't know.
It's not very cute.
Yeah,
in
but
my
they're also
opinion.
excited because it's a convertible, and they're all.
It's a good date car.
Yes, it is.
As if he
that
ever
Aurora
takes them.
is beyond, like, she's never seen a car before.
Yeah.
Of course, she's beyond excited. But Kody tells us that he's going on 4 dates with each wife because he needs to nurture each relationship, and they need content for this show. So, of course, they have to do these dates in order of marriage.
Yes.
So the first date is with Meri, and then after 22 years of marriage, they're finally going skiing.
Whoopee.
Whoop-de-doo. And so, so apparently, like, on their first time they ever met, he said, "Oh, I'm going to take you, let's go skiing sometime." And he's never taken her.
Yeah, which is interesting because Kody looked like he was a pretty good skier, which means that he has been skiing over
Many
these
times
last
over the
22 years without Meri.
Yes.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. So we learn a little bit about their relationship, and I guess they started off as friends. And he says that he was much more interested in a person's character than
Now, what is that code for?
that he wasn't attracted to her at first.
Yeah.
Or yeah. So and then this was kind of interesting. And then we see the two of them. They're going over to this, I guess, ski resort place. I guess that's relatively close.
Well, yeah. How far do you have to drive from Las Vegas, where there's no snow, to get to snow?
Yeah, that was very strange. I'm like, okay.
You can
because they're talking about, Christine later in the episode talks about a Valentine's Day dance. So it's February. Mm-hmm. So it's cold and it was dark early. Mm-hmm. So you know it's wintertime. But yeah, that was a good question, which is where do you go?
Well, I know there's snow in Flagstaff in northern Arizona, but isn't that pretty far from Las Vegas? Isn't that 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how far they drove to get to this mountain. But then but then instead of, I don't know, springing for
a lesson
or two with an instructor, Kody decides to teach Meri how to ski,
like on a run that is too advanced for a beginner.
Yeah, and
it's not the bunny slopes.
And also, I don't know, forgets to teach her the most important thing: how to stop.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even have poles.
No.
Why doesn't she have poles?
This gave me so much anxiety because, yeah, he really did put her in danger. Mm-hmm. You know, he's the one who caused this, torn ligament.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was really dumb. I mean, they were on fairly difficult runs. And I mean, usually when you learn to ski, you start on the little bunny slopes and you go.
Usually you get a trained instructor.
You get a lesson. And he just takes her up on this hill and she just keeps falling and falling and falling. And
well, until James, so she's on the ground, and then James, the ski patrol, shows up. And he's like, "Hey, do you need any help?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm just resting." And then he's like, "Well, why don't I teach you how to stop?"
Yeah.
Because she's using falling as a way of stopping.
Right.
And then James, the ski instructor, the ski patrol, teaches her how to stop. And it's like, Kody, why? You're just looking at Kody like you didn't think about this? You didn't think to teach her how to stop up until now?
Well, and it's very strange because she keeps making these comments saying, if I can just show him that I can do this, I can say, ha, I told you so.
Yeah.
I mean, she's this strange competitive thing. Like she has to prove to Kody that she can do this. And maybe because the reason why he's never taken her skiing is he's probably telling her, oh, you're not going to be able to do that. That's too hard for you. Because she's very intent on showing him that she can do this.
Yeah.
Like a little too much. Because she should have been miserable. I mean, she looks miserable, but she's acting like she's fine. But I would have been miserable. I would have been like, get me off of this mountain. And I've tried to ski and I hated it and it was miserable. And I just I'm not doing this. I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we went skiing when we were younger. I think that skiing's one of those things that you, much like surfing, because I tried to learn to surf at 38 and it's really hard. Surfing, skiing, these are things that you have to learn when you're young.
Yeah, when you're fearless.
And young and agile and then do for the rest of your life. It's really hard to learn these things past 30.
Yeah, and so the ski patrol guy leaves, and she continues to, try to prove something to Kody. And then she falls like really badly, and her knee pops, and they somehow get her back down to the bottom of the hill, and the ski patrol guy comes back, and he basically says, you need to go to the ER. Mm-hmm. And again, Meri's saying she just wanted to go one more time. And it's like, God, this is, I don't know. It's gave me anxiety.
I think that, Meri's always been a little bit of the daredevil. I think that much like being in a family where there's a lot of kids, I think that with these wives, I think each of them feels this great need to figure out, how do I carve out who I am? Mm-hmm. And just like where kids feel like I have to be the jokester or I have to be the straight A student, I think Meri feels like I have to be the daredevil fun one. So the daredevil fun one would go up and ski one last time with a bum knee,
with a torn MCO.
Yeah, that's the kind of person. I'm the fun one. I'm this kind of person. I think that's where that's coming from. I think that to prove him wrong, to be this kind of person, I think that's where it's coming from. I think that's how she has to set herself apart. Mm-hmm. And I think she wants to, I think she's been kind of miserable for maybe a long time. I think this is her new persona.
Yeah, she's going to show him how fun she is.
Yeah, this is the new 20 years marriage Meri.
Now, I guess instead of going to the ER, they order some hot chocolate.
Yes.
And they start to reminisce.
Yes. The hot chocolate reminds Kody of when they first met, because it was Christmas time and cold weather, and they had their first kiss
a week later. So he really is not attracted to her.
Yeah. Well, so I guess his proposal, which was not romantic because I guess the proposal was on Christmas Eve. He just handed her a box and told her to open it, and then it was a ring in there, and he said, I guess we should get married.
Yeah. God, this is awful.
Yeah. So I guess he wasn't very romantic, and then I guess Robyn got this romantic Kody, and then which again was very telling, Meri says, Robyn, mm-hmm. Which again, I like to go back to. This is a bit of why so much of this is flawed and why people should wait a bit to get married, which is that, when you're younger, you do need to learn how to be in relationships. And if we took a step back and looked at this, Kody would be dating someone. Like, technically, Kody should be dating Meri, and then dating all these people, and then eventually meeting Robyn and marrying Robyn. Like, if this was like a normal progression of dating in life, like, he would be dating all these women and then eventually meeting and marrying Robyn.
But this is not a normal progression of life. They're in a cult.
I know, but I'm just saying, that's how it should go.
And that's the thing, Robyn ruined Meri's marriage too, because I really think that Meri's parents and Kody's parents, I think, were pushing them together. They've alluded to this in the past, that, they were in the same circles of people. I think they pushed them together. I don't think Kody was attracted to her. Mm-hmm. I don't think he really wanted to get married to her. And, same with all of them. I don't think he really truly wanted to marry Janelle or Christine either. He barely knew them. Nothing. It was not romantic. It was all platonic. And then they just decided to get married.
But I feel like Meri and Kody do have an attraction to each other. You remember the day that he and Robyn got married? Those two look like they wanted to do it.
I think that now they do, but I don't know. And then they start showing these scenes that we've seen a million times from their wedding, where Kody sings to her.
Oh God, that was painful to watch. The Everything I Own by Bread.
Yeah. I have to say though, and then he reprised that performance on the couch, which honestly, I don't think he did a bad job of it. I mean, most people can't even carry a tune.
I'm amazed he did it. I think I would be like, oh God, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, well, but I think Kody likes attention, and I think he thinks that he can sing.
Yeah.
He I think he probably thought he did just fine. But
that was painful to have to sit there and watch that yet again.
Yes.
We had to go through that twice, but that was really, really painful. But I don't know. I think they're attracted to each other now, but yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you. I think they definitely were pushed into all of that. But I think they I don't know. I think they like each other now.
Yeah, well, not now, present day.
No, not now, present day. But I think they've kind of figured some things out by the time we got there.
The day of that show.
But anyway, that's how their date ended was the ER.
Going to the ER, and Meri now is bedridden for a while.
But before we see her bedridden, we are over at Janelle's house. It's the morning time. It's 5:45 a.m. And Janelle says that things get rolling pretty early there. And so we get to see some action at Janelle's house. I guess Garrison and Gabe, God, these two are at each other's throats.
Well, Logan's making breakfast.
Oh, yes, of course.
Because the high school starts really early. So I guess Logan, Maddie, and Hunter all have to get up. Logan's got to make breakfast.
Yes, of course.
And then Janelle takes them to school, and then Gabe and Garrison are just left to fight it out and take care of Savannah.
Yes.
She puts them in charge of getting Savannah up. And poor Savannah, they're just tormenting her. And Gabe puts her doll in the toilet.
Yes. Well, I thought it was so funny. Well, first, it's like Garrison and Gabe are at each other's throats. Then Janelle's like, there's no need for the two of you to communicate. You don't need to be talking to each other. I mean, poor Janelle. She's just, and I think this is the other reason maybe why Janelle didn't care about Kody so much. Because I think she has the hardest stuff with her kids, right? She's probably got all of this. And the best is where she tells Gabe, wake up Savannah nicely. But I will say, I think in the beginning, Gabe was waking her up nicely.
Yeah, she wasn't getting up.
She wasn't getting up. He was, he was trying. And then he did tell her he was going to put the doll in the toilet. He did forewarn her. And then he did. And then he put the doll in the toilet.
And she still didn't get up.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's 6:30 in the morning. It's very early.
Yeah.
Very, very early. So... Anyway, we're back at Meri's house. We see Kody. He's there taking care of Meri because she's got a partially torn, sprained MCL, and she's got 6 to 8 weeks of recovery. Ugh.
Jeez. But she's still saying that it was a blast, and she wants to go again. Wants to go skiing again.
Yes.
It's like, really?
But and then we get this thing of her talking about, is this her in the interview talking about how she feels when she hears that Kody is going to do something nice or special for one of the other wives, and that she wonders if he's going to do something nice or special for her. And then you also feel like you don't want to show all that much excitement when, he does something nice for you. You don't want to show that much excitement or too much intention in front of the other wives, because you don't want them to feel bad. And it's like, God, there's just so
dysfunctional.
And you have to manage so much,
so many feelings. Yeah, no,
right?
This is torture.
You have to manage your feelings constantly. You have to be so hyper aware of, okay, I can't be jealous of this person over here, and I have to be so mindful of that. It's utterly exhausting.
Yeah, it sounds like torture to have to live like that.
Yeah,
honestly. What's the good part about this again?
You get someone to help you take care of your kids if you die. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you have someone to trade clothes with. I mean, I really don't know. I don't know what the upside is so far.
Me neither. So now it's Janelle's turn. Kody and Janelle are going to Red Rock Canyon. And Janelle, since she's been on her health journey, she's now able to do these kind of hikes.
I love how Janelle's date costs no money.
Yeah.
No money at all. Not even, she doesn't even get a hot chocolate. She didn't get like a meal.
There's nothing out there. There's no snack bar.
Yeah, there's
there.
nothing. Not even a dollar.
No. So, yeah, she says the kids have held them together all these years, which is another kind of sad commentary. But they're more in love now than when they were first married.
Yes.
There was a lot of adjustment with the wives, but Logan was the one who brought them all together.
Oh, yes. He says it was a beautiful experience. The beautiful experience was the birth of Daddy Logan.
Yes.
And brought them all together. And he says that it brought Meri and Christine into the marriage, bonded them all together. And then, of course, the best is when they start talking about their future. And I'm thinking to myself, no, you won't be. Guess what? That's not going to happen.
Yeah, what were their future plans again?
Oh, God. I wasn't even listening to it because I was like, no, it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, I think they were thinking about how, the kids are going to grow up and they'll be grandchildren and this and that. And it's like, well...
Yeah,
maybe for you, Janelle, but
not for the two of you. But it is interesting. I mean, when you watch them walking, I mean, they were holding hands, which I thought was interesting. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that was just for the cameras or what that was. If that's like how they are, if they are a lot more lovey-dovey than we see, or. I don't know. And I don't know if the way you make these marriages work, if you have to keep your expectations really, really low or what it is. I don't know, but it's really funny. I mean, I don't know. I wish Janelle revealed a little bit more because I wish I understood or knew her a bit more.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can see how Kody gravitates towards her because I think she is low stress. It's not like... I think Meri and Christine are the most, like, tightly wound, like, in wanting his time and wanting attention and being insecure and being jealous. Janelle doesn't really seem to be like that. She talks... The maddest I ever saw her was the 11-day honeymoon.
Yes.
That pissed her off.
And finite resources. The finite resources always.
And then, because that's what broke them up, I think, eventually, is the money. But in between those things, I just feel like, her expectations were low, and so he was able to meet them. And, she was focused on her work and her children. I don't think she had a lot of time to ruminate about, how much attention is Kody giving me and how much attention is he giving somebody else. Yeah. I think Meri has had a lot more time to ruminate in her head about these things.
Yes. Well, I also think that I think what's Janelle's work has been her purpose. And I think that for Meri's purpose has been much more family. And because she hasn't been able to have children, she hasn't had as much, that hasn't taken up as much of time. And I think Christine, her purpose has been marriage and children. And she's had children, but she's, that marriage part.
Yeah, it's unfulfilling.
Yeah. So anyway, we're now at Christine's house. And it's the morning. She's getting Truly up, and then Gwen. And then is she baking? She's using her stand mixer in the morning. I was like, wow, you're like, she had butter in there. I'm like, are you baking cookies?
Well, maybe she was
very impressed.
She was maybe making pancakes. Is it mixing up pancake mix?
Well, I'm impressed. I mean, if you're busting out your stand mixer that early in the morning, like with butter and all that, like you're making fresh, you're doing something. And Christine, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
So she's asking Isabel about the daddy-daughter dance. I guess Kody is going to be taking 5 of his daughters, but Gwen is going to be taking Daddy Logan to the dance.
Good move. She said she wanted to have her own date.
Yes. And then Christine walks Gwen and Isabel to school with Truly. And then she goes over to Meri's house to see how Meri's doing. And then this whole conversation starts when Christine comments on Meri's family picture. And Christine says she hasn't asked Kody for a family picture because they're not on the best of terms. And she doesn't really want to ask. And Meri, of course, says, seems shocked, but probably not. Oh, things are not good.
Yeah. Yeah, and Meri starts talking about how she and Kody went through the same thing, and like what we were talking about before, she says that you have to change if you want him to change. And Christine, I think, makes some good points. And this is Groundhog Day. This has been in multiple episodes lately. Christine says, at what point does he realize that he made mistakes too? And then Meri is making excuses for him, saying it's hard for guys. It takes them a while. And Christine says, so it has to be one-sided then? Meri says, yes. And then Christine sort of calls her out on that, saying, well, it hasn't worked for you. He hasn't taken you anywhere last year, no birthday or anniversary trip. And then Meri kind of has this look on her face like, oh my God, she's right. It hasn't worked for her.
No. Though I will, so this is one thing I will say about all this, which is that, and I have a good friend, I'll name Dr. Abby Metcalf. She has a podcast, Relationships Made Easy. I highly recommend it. And she wrote a book called Be Happily Married, Even If Your Partner Won't Do a Thing. And I do subscribe to this belief, which is, and Meri is right about this, which is you can only change yourself, which is you can, if you are in a marriage and you're unhappy, and we see this a lot where one person wants the marriage to be different, you don't want to get a divorce, you don't want the relationship to end, you can change your marriage, you can change things by working on you and changing how you respond to your partner and changing that dynamic and changing how things are with them. So I do agree with Meri in the sense that Christine holding on to just being mad at Kody all the time and being angry and holding on to all of this isn't helping. That if she wants things to change with Kody, the only thing she can do is change herself, change how she reacts to Kody, change and also change how she brings these things up to Kody, change her communication. And I think that, but I think that the problem fundamentally is this big, giant, glaring problem, which is Robyn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah,
is that this is not ever going to go
away.
It's not going to go away. And so the thing is that the problem is that what really Meri and the situation is asking Christine to do is you have to accept that your husband is married to this woman that he's really in love with. And there's nothing you can do about that.
And that's what Christine claps back with. She says, I try to be happy when he's around, but I can't block that underlying current, which is the courtship with Robyn. So she's not over it. He doesn't make her feel special, and she doesn't trust that he will come around. Meri says, well, that's what's keeping him away. But it seemed to me, because Christine she always comes back to, well, I was the third wife, I was the last wife for 16 years. And for whatever reason, I don't know if was it explicit or implicit, Christine seemed to think that there was never going to be another wife, that she was the last wife and that was it. And maybe Kody told her that. Maybe she just assumed that. And then when that didn't happen, it was like something had been broken, like a promise had been broken to her. And I mean, she's right. She will never get over that. She never got over it. And it took her a while to realize that there was no matter what amount of counseling they did on their anniversary trip, or how many times they went to see Dr. Nancy, or no matter what they did, that was never going to heal. And that was that was the bottom line.
And maybe for her, that's what made her feel special. Maybe a lot of her specialness was the fact that she felt like, I was the last wife, I was this, I was that. Like, you know, it's possible that Kody never promised any of this.
Yeah.
That being the third wife, being the last wife, that this was this image she had in her mind, and that she attached all of this to, and that when she lost that it was just like, okay.
Yeah. So I don't think there was ever any hope after that. And then but so much of this is, and I think, and we've talked about this before, which is fundamentally what's so hard about this and what this goes against is you're really asking people to deny basic fundamental feelings that are real and true, right? Which is, of course, you're going to feel jealousy when your partner is in love with someone else. Right. I mean, my God, in real life, yes, that is monogamy. But these people signed up for polygamy, but are expecting their monogamous feelings to be satisfied.
Yes.
It's like putting a square peg in a round hole. It's just not going to work.
Yeah. And it is very, very hard not to feel these feelings. And so what you're asking of women, especially only women, you know, sometimes, I mean, I know there's seeking brother husband shows out now, but I mean, what you're really asking of women all the time is suppress your feelings, push them aside, and don't have them. And I do feel for, I mean, I really do feel for Christine, you know, is that she has all of these big feelings about this. And yeah, I do. You know, but at the same time, the only thing she can do to make this better is change herself. I mean, truly, that's her one and only choice.
Yeah. Well, and she finally did. She finally changed herself.
And she changed herself right out the door.
Right out the door.
And she's now having probably the best sex of her life with David.
David Woolley.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then at the end of this scene, they pan up to this piece of word art over Meri's bed that says, "Love never fails."
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
God.
Well, and also, I guess, I wonder, I also wonder, the special, because she was saying he was always open and kind and loving, and he made me feel special, and that he did such a good job balancing those things with the 3 wives, and he's not doing it well with 4 wives. But I guess I'm wondering what happened with, do you think that he just, all of that, anything that made her feel special, he just stopped? He gave all of that to Robyn?
I think so. I think that time-wise, he had less time and energy. And also, let's be real, he was totally smitten with Robyn, and Robyn made him feel really good, and he used every chance and excuse he could get to be with her. And also, like, you know, Christine, he always says, was famously, she was brought in to, like, heal this rift between Meri and Janelle.
Yeah.
So I guess she had fit that, that was their dynamic. So she was fine within that dynamic, because I think that made her feel special, that she was able to come in and bring some levity and light. Because, you know, if you just look at Janelle and Meri, I mean, if we've talked about this before, Christine's the one who's happy, makes things happen, gets people excited, you know, plans every fun thing that they do, you know, and so that was just her dynamic. That was her place. And then it all just got.
And so he must have said to her all the time, "Oh, Christine, you're so funny, so you this," and that was what she was feeling from him.
Right.
Yeah. But I do want to say, she did say something really interesting where where she does say, like, Christine says, I don't trust that he'll come around, right? He's not going to change. And when Meri says, you know, you're not trusting that is what's keeping him away. I thought that was very right on. I was like, okay, Meri, you're you know,
perceptive.
You're very perceptive with that one. So
anyway, the Kody and Christine date.
Yes.
Which starts out lame but ends up pretty cool. They go to a paintball, to play paintball. I don't know what you call it. That's so dumb.
I don't understand why people love paintball and laser tag.
I don't know.
I mean, I get
if you're
why
a 13-year-old boy or something.
I get the excitement of shooting something or someone, but I don't know.
It didn't look fun at all.
No, it didn't.
But he turned it around when he came. They came out of the paintball place, and they're going to go on a helicopter ride.
Yes.
Which looked very cool.
Yes.
And it was sunset, and then, you know, the strips all lit up, and they stopped at a viewpoint somewhere and looked out. That was very cool. But, yeah, and then they interspersed in this is them talking about their relationship, a lot of what we just said. You know, they were married after just 2 months of courting. And she says that, she says that she realized that he wasn't who she thought he was. I'm not sure what that means. But then Christine talks about being a wedge between Meri and Janelle.
Well, yeah, she said, basically that when he first met her, she had great energy, and she told him that he's the person that she would want to marry. And he took that as like a proposal. So he called her father, who's the head of the church, and they got married 2 months later. And Christine thought that Kody was the life of the party kind of a guy. And then they got married, and she said she saw a different side of him.
Oh, probably because the life inside their house was so grim.
And then I write down what side. And then I think then they kind of talked around this, but I think they don't really say it, but I think that is that the fact that Meri and Janelle weren't getting along.
She was walking into this really grim situation.
Yeah. So I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then we see them at frozen yogurt.
Yes.
I mean, God, at least she got frozen yogurt. Janelle didn't even get frozen yogurt.
No.
And then they go into this whole thing about how she's going to work on her attitude.
Well, but again, she's going to work on her attitude.
Not Kody.
But what is Kody going to work on? You know,
Nothing.
And she's such a romantic, you know. She's just so, you know, he lured her in with this fantastic helicopter ride and whatever. And so now she's just feeling so, oh, this is so romantic and it's so great. And she's like, okay, I promise I'll be more grateful. I'll do this, I'll do that. And she's like snuggling up against him like a little girl.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of going, okay, yeah. Well, what are you going to do, Kody?
Yeah. Well, and I think this is part of the problem is she keeps doing this cycle. And really what she kind of needs to do is she needs to work on herself, and she needs to figure out, well, what am I really wanting here? What am I really wanting or needing? And then she needs to figure out, how do I communicate this to him in a healthy way? And then how do I figure out my timing and tone? And how do I do this? And then the problem is, because they have limited time together, you know, it's hard to bring these things up because they have limited time together. And so, but she does need to bring this up, and she does need to communicate this. But the problem is that she's not communicating it. And when she does communicate it, I don't think she communicates it very well. That's the problem.
Yeah.
She either doesn't communicate it, or she communicates it passive aggressively, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway.
So there's better ways to do it. So anyway,
moving on.
Because we learn how he wants to be communicated with, because we learn about this later on.
Yes. So now we're
at Robyn's, and all of her children are sick.
They're all coughing, and so she's explaining how they've been married for 1.5 years, and she
is just gushing.
She's talking about how she thinks sister-wife relationships are great, and so she starts Robyn-splaining the relationship between sister wives and how that works. And, you know, I'm just like, oh, God, here she goes again.
All right, Robyn.
Whatever. And then she was talking about how, you know, it's really difficult that they only see him 1 out of 4 nights. And I started thinking about this, and it's like, you know, this 1 out of 4 night thing, this is worse than being a divorced father. You see your kids less. So if you see in a 30-day month, if you see them every 4th night, that's like roughly 7 days a month. Okay. Now, if you're a divorced dad, I mean, at least in California, it's 50-50. But, you know, back in the old days, you know, divorce was like every other weekend, and then you'd see your dad 1 night a week.
Yeah.
So, like, if you see them 1 night a week and every other weekend, that's 9 days. At least a month. And, you know, maybe more if you add in, like, you go over Friday night. So you're there like Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then 1 day in the middle of the week. I mean, he's not seeing his kids very much at all.
Yeah.
This is really unhealthy.
Yes, it is.
It's really tragic. And it just pisses me off when they tout this as being such a great fucking lifestyle.
Well, and, you know, here's Robyn with, I mean, she's got those 3 kids plus
It's a baby.
a baby
Yeah.
who's sick.
Yeah. And she's up by herself,
Yeah.
you know, all night with the coughing baby and the other kids. And I mean, that's a lot, which I guess is why she always has nannies. And you were defending her last week. And so I'm kind of coming around to, look, if that were me and someone paid for a nanny, I would take it. So I'm apologize to Robyn for that.
They get Maddie to come and watch the other kids, and so the 2 of them are taking Solomon to the melting pot for some fondue.
Oh, luckily he slept through the whole dinner, it looked like.
Yes. So then we learn another story about how these 2 met, because there's a million of them.
Another conflicting story.
So I guess it's with spring of 2009, Robyn went to a dance at her church, and she saw Kody, and when he looked at her, it was like a lightning bolt.
But wait, didn't Meri first, she said Meri said hi to Robyn, and Meri told Kody, oh, she's cute. But Kody said he didn't want to talk to her because she was divorced.
Yes. So this was afterwards. So basically, the way she's describing it is, first, Robyn saw Kody at a dance. Then later on, and maybe this was when she was at her cousin Reba's house, Robyn ran into Meri at the cousin Reba's house, but she didn't say that. This is what we learned in the book. And Meri was very attracted to Robyn on a sister wife level and started pushing Kody, but Kody was a no because Robyn was divorced, because God forbid, that is, you know, just such an awful thing. But Meri was very excited and told her to ask her to dance. But that's really weird, because I thought they were at Reba's. But they seem to be at this dance.
I don't know. It's a different story every time. And I have no idea. But we do know they, at some point, danced. And that's when the lightning bolts of electricity hit.
So we don't know if they met at this dance. We don't know if they met at that Reba's. They have 19 stories about this, which makes me think that there's more to this story.
It's suspicious.
It's very suspicious. And so then they go into this whole thing about Kody and having more kids, and, you know, whether or not Kody has the capacity for more children. And of course, Kody's so upset. Of course he has the capacity.
Of course he does.
Of course he does, because, you know, 1/4.
I can split 1/4 of my time into another slice.
Of course I have, you know, because, you know, I'm here 1/4.
Yeah. So
I am
now that kid would be getting 1/5 of 1/4 of my time.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, of course. He's got tons of time.
Oh, yeah.
But this is where Kody says that they don't really have any challenges in the relationship, because if Robyn has a concern, she just brings it to him and very gently communicates it with him. So that's what he wants.
Gentle communication.
Gentle communication. Which, okay. So, just saying. So now we're finished with that date. Well, then they were going to actually, we don't see the rest of the date because they're just rearing to go after all that fondue. So they were going to go to the movies or something?
Yeah, they were going to call Maddie and basically say, well, we're going to go to the movies now, so you're going to have to babysit for free for about 3 more hours.
Yeah, don't worry about school tomorrow, kid.
Right. God. Yeah, of course these kids never get compensated for this quote-unquote babysitting.
Yes. So now we're at Meri's house. So Meri and Dayton are having a joint birthday party. And of course, we have to get into this whole thing about like, how is Robyn and her kids? How are they connecting with the rest of the family? And how Solomon, how is he connecting with everyone? And now that Solomon's there, and Robyn always has to call out like Hunter because is
leave Hunter
being
alone.
accepting of this kid, and how Maddie,
she holds a grudge against Hunter because when she made that announcement that she was pregnant, he famously just
said we have too many kids.
Said to me we have too many kids, and just stood there, didn't even make eye contact with her, hug her, do anything or say anything. He just looked pissed.
Yeah, which
is a normal reaction.
A lot of times, I'm sorry, but how many of these things have we seen on social media where they announce to older kids when there's only like 2 or 3 kids in the family, and
they start crying? Yeah,
and a parent says, "I'm having another baby," and one kid's thrilled and the other kid's like, "What?" Pissed.
Yeah,
and
leave Hunter alone.
Yeah. Do you have any recollection of when Mom and Dad told you?
No, I really don't. I don't really remember. No, I don't remember them telling me anything. But what happened was when our mom was, 4 or 5 months pregnant, she slipped and fell at a fire station.
Yes. Famously on gas or something. She was pregnant with me.
On a school field trip or something. She's a teacher. And so she broke her arm and she was in the hospital. And they wouldn't let me in, and I was crying and sobbing, and that was like the most traumatic experience. That's like my first memory. It was very, very traumatic, and I think I knew she was pregnant. Like I knew because there was talk about, is the baby going to be okay, and this and that. But I don't remember them like sitting down and telling me anything.
Well, that's really sad. Your first core memory is of trauma of being separated from your mother.
Yeah, because my mother didn't come to pick me up from preschool or whatever that day. Our Aunt Kathy came to pick me up, and I screamed and cried like all night. Oh. And I remember,
where was Dad?
At the hospital.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let me in the hospital. But then Dad came out and he took me around to where her window was, and he held me up, and that just made it worse because then I saw her lying in the bed with her arm, in a cast, and she's crying and I'm crying, and it just made it worse. It's like, just take me home.
No, this is terrible.
No, it was terrible. It was.
Oh no.
So, there was no preparation for it. So then when you were actually born, Mom had to go to the hospital. They could prepare me ahead of time. Yeah. And I knew and whatever, but... Yeah.
So you would have been, if it was 4 or 5 months, well, you were 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, that is traumatic.
It was very traumatic. Yeah, because it was just happened out of nowhere.
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't really get much of a...
I was thrown into sisterhood. I was just thrown right into it.
You were not prepared at all.
I was not prepared.
So you know what? Then Hunter's had enough trauma. You know? So Hunter has the right to be annoyed.
That's right. Hunter had no idea this was
coming around the corner. Hunter's got the right. So anyway, they're talking about all of that. So they're opening presents, having fun, and the big reveal is that Kody is taking Meri to Mexico for her birthday
because he missed all of the
other stuff from last year. Which I will say that, last year around this time, they were fleeing Utah.
Right. And they were broke.
And they were fleeing Utah, finite resources. So I do have to say, like, Christine throwing that in Meri's face about, well, did he take you on a trip? Right. Did he do this and that? It's a little bit like, as I mentioned last week, like these Christmas gifts they're giving to each other. Like, my husband and I don't give each other these huge Christmas gifts and like taking each other on these fancy trips and all this kind of stuff. I mean, and we don't have 19 kids. I mean, there's also this other part of it too of this other layer of they're constantly having to give each other these gifts and these
to
trips
make them
to
feel
make
special.
each other. There's constantly this. Oh, we have to constantly be doing these things because we have to constantly prove to each other that you're special, you're special, you're special all the time. It's exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that was pretty much the episode.
That was the episode.
I don't know. I have to say, I kind of like these sort of the 4 lives of Kody Brown. I like it when they break it up and make each of them do something. I mean, listen, I know they're filler episodes. I know that there's not anything exciting happening or they're trying to fill things in, but
it's mostly because it's just the same like stuff over and over again about the problems with the relationships.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's been a lot of that lately, but give me some time with some other stuff and I'll come back to we can come back and rag on the relationships again.
I hate to be the one to tell you this, but it's like, it's going to be like this. It's going to be a lot of this. It's going to be, then we're going to be talking about getting into houses and we're going to be talking about,
Oh, yeah. And who gets what,
then it's that, it's going to be several seasons of getting into the houses, the construction, the wet bar, and then it's going to be Flagstaff and then Coyote Pass. And it's going to be a lot of that. And then COVID and...
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes.
Yeah, to relive all the good times.
So
all over again.
I don't know if there's any, do you have any gossip or any news?
Well, I saw a picture just yesterday online of Christine with her mom and a couple of her daughters, I think, at a wedding dress shop.
Oh, for her?
For her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, Christine.
What else have I seen? Nothing like super exciting.
So this wedding is just, it's right around the corner.
It is in the works. It is definitely in the works.
You'd think that she'd slow down a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, not slow down, but just, I don't know. We don't know how long she's been dating this guy. Maybe, I think they've been dating a bit more. I mean, they've been dating longer than what was announced. Yeah. But at the same time, I kind of feel like, okay, Christine, what's the rush to get married?
No, I disagree. I feel like when you are that age, and you've been through all the shit that she's been through, I just feel like if you meet someone and you click and whatever and you know what you want, why wait?
I don't know. I just kind of feel like,
but I also feel like she, like you said, we have, or she has known him a lot longer than we realized. Because the taping, think about it. When they wrapped the last season, they were already a year behind. And then several months went by, and then Christine went through that whole thing where she had to do a soft rollout that she was dating. And because she had posted that she was, getting back on, she was going to be dating, she was going to be online, and then not much time went by, and then she announced that she had met someone, but she wasn't ready to come out with it, and then she came out with him, so she had to do this slow roll out. I think she probably started dating him pretty soon after she got to move to Utah, which at this point is almost 2 years ago.
Okay. 2 years, I give you that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. No,
I'm fine with the 2 years. I thought it was sooner than that.
No.
Okay.
No, because the show is like way behind.
Yeah. Well, and so if she wants to do the full thing, because she probably didn't get much of a wedding the last time, and
oh no, clearly,
yeah.
Clearly. Yeah. And then, I don't know, there's always so much stuff about, I don't know what to believe online. But that's the only reputable thing. Like
that she is wedding dress shopping.
Her content is reputable. And then Janelle is at a family reunion in Florida. You know, it's like God knows what Kody and Robyn are doing. We don't know.
All right.
So that's it for episode 2, season 4. We'll be back next week with probably 2 more short episodes. And if you like the Sister Wives Rewind, it's every Tuesday it comes out. And if you like the podcast, please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating and review. We're also right now on Mondays reviewing And Just Like That.
Yes.
We just finished recording the 3rd episode, so it's not too late to jump
right in, or you can even download what we've already recorded.
Yeah. And you can find us on social media at Psych Legal Pop on Instagram and TikTok. And
yeah,
I think that's about it.
Tell a friend.
Yes.
Tell 2 friends.
Spread the word. We're just sitting here waiting for the next season to start, which hopefully will just be a couple more months.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully, yeah.
So much is happening.
Yes.
I wonder if Christine is timing her wedding with the premiere.
Ooh, wouldn't that be exciting?
Yeah.
That would be very exciting.
If they were smart, they would do that.
Yes.
TV advice from someone who knows nothing. Anyway, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.